Hello. This one is going to have the students working with metals and nonmetals. You're going to get some liquids. This is your acids. And then you're going to have some small containers that you're going to set up to put on the tray. That'll be this. I'll go through each individual components, what it is. You have a small spot plate.
So cute. The kids will love that.
Yes, you're going to use a pipette. I typically pour the acids into 2 cups and leave it at my desk so that I can monitor the students working with this, and then these materials are sitting at their table with them. And then I very carefully monitor their movement. At this point, we're going to pan down so you can see things a little bit better.
And if you have gloves, if you feel like the kids need that, and that's something you have, they could use the gloves or goggles if you have that. It's not a have to.
Right.
But that's a suggestion if you would like. I know I have some students that love to just put on goggles just because they like the way they look.
Go figure.
Yeah.
So there's this piece of paper that they get, and then there's a second piece of paper. It walks them through the steps. Again, you can print them back and forth. But you're going to go through some testing, and you're going to first do an appearance test. You're going to do shape changing by gently seeing if they can bend it or form it, or just literally manipulating. So they're going to take it out of the containers. Conductivity, you're going to get a small string of wire. Batteries, I think, are hard to get right now for us, so you may or may not have to get those on your own. And then you're supposed to get a light bulb so that you can test to see if these containers have a conductivity type of element in there. A reactivity with acid, then you're going to go with this because your elements are on the spot plate. And then you're going to have the copper chloride also as a testing for reactivity. They're going to fill in their things. Everything is just simply labeled A, B, C, D at the beginning. They don't know what they're getting, so they're testing this stuff out. Appearance, crushing, conductivity, reactivity with acid, and then copper chloride. You'll get it when you get your USB dongle, you'll see it a little bit clearer. And if we try to put on the Promethean board, it looks reversed, so we weren't even going there. Then they have to classify each of the properties tested for physical or chemical. And then they are going to sort their elements into 2 groups, whether it's metal or non-metal. Then they have to answer the question, which element or elements could fit into either of the groups and why. And then using the following information, classify each tested A, B, C, or D element is a metal, metalloid, or non-metal, and then you work again through this question here. Then there's a nice little claim for claims and evidence. CRE, got to work on that a little bit. So this gives them a chance to do some writing out, and you can say, oh no, a paragraph is actually 4 sentences or 5 sentences, just to get them to practice writing in a nonfiction form in a research format. I'm going to rotate and slide that up a little bit more so you can see it. So your 4 elements, you're supposed to, hopefully we'll be able to, you are going to have a container of silicone. You put a few in here. You have the students simply lift out the piece as needed and put in a spot plate as needed. You then will have also this one, then you have the silicone, you have zinc, and you have sulfur. And so again, I'm not putting them properly in the spot plate, but you get an idea of what's going on. Funny thing is, I had one student who's allergic to sulfur, so she didn't get to do the lab last year. You should be getting the smaller versions of sulfur rather than these larger chunks. And then you again find a small piece, have the students put it on the spot plate. This is in a way set up so that they can't touch this material, they can manipulate it. But this containers stay on the tray for all 4 periods, or however many periods you have, and then they don't have to move things around. For this comes in a tape, and they can work on a set. When they move it, it'll show them the flexibility that it has, and then you put them in there.
And for malleability and those big words that they cannot seem to remember the difference between malleability and ductility, those types of things, when they're putting their hands on these actual elements, it just makes such a difference to help get those in their mind.
Yeah, it's a reinforcing. When you do the pipettes, make sure you talk to them when you do the talk through the steps of how to suck up some of the liquid, and when you're putting it on the spot plate, to not touch their element with the liquid so that it doesn't transfer. You don't want to have this touching but all 4 of the different elements and then having problems with your results. But you will see some things react and some things won't react at all when it comes to the mixture of all this information here. But that's, go ahead.
And when they empty these out, do you want to mention like once they're done with the chemicals, do you just have them to bring that back up to the teacher station? Is that usually
Yeah,
the
I usually have
best?
to leave the chemicals at the teacher station and they carry the spot plate.
Okay.
And then when
the
they're
spot-
done when they're done adding their liquid to it, I have them leave the spot plate at my table and then I do that part of the cleanup.
Okay.
They should have written down their information here. And then they do the second page based on the information they've written here. I try to do as much of that touching with the acid and the liquid as much as possible, just
Just for the
third,
safety.
you're seventh graders.
Yes.
But that's it for this demo. Thank you very much.